Hi Scorpio, welcome to your reading. If you're new to the channel, I do timeless readings, which means that whenever you find this video is when you're meant to hear the messages within it. And in case you subscribe, I upload many videos for Taurus and Scorpio on Tuesdays. Also, for those of you guys who are interested, the deck that I'm using today is called the Solo Busca Tarot. These cards are considerably larger than the cards that I'm used to shuffling with, so sometimes it takes a little bit longer to have them jump out like I normally do. But if you guys are interested, as always, I have my information to get a personal reading in the description below. But the goal here is to get roughly 8 to 9 cards. And then we can get started on your overall energy. Alright, so I'm just going to take this time to remind you guys that if you enjoy the reading, leave a like or a comment. It's the best way for me to know. But your overall energy that we have here is the Knight of Wands. Now, the Knight of Wands is a very powerful card to have, mostly because it leads me to believe that you guys are going to see some kind of a message come forth. And I feel like it's going to be some kind of a message that really leads you to feel a lot less stressed out. Because this Nine of Swords really caught my attention. And it really makes me feel like you guys are in a really difficult position right now. Sort of like against a rock and hard place. But it's very interesting because we have the Two of Swords here in reverse. And the Six of Cups here in reverse. Now, the Two of Swords in reverse talks about indecision and stalemates and weighing out your options, balance a lot of the times. So I'm thinking that right now you guys may possibly be making some kind of a decision that a little too hastily, or maybe you've tried to avoid indecision by making whichever choice sort of seems the best at face value and sort of at a glance. And I think that for a lot of you guys, you've sort of skimped out a little bit on your inner child, because we have here the Six of Cups. Now, the Six of Cups to me talks a lot about nostalgia, and the fact that we have it in reverse leads me to believe that you guys are experiencing right now something where you aren't exactly letting your inner child play. And I feel like maybe right now in the short term, that might not be that big of a deal. But I really do feel that in the long term, you're not going to be able to sort of sustain an option where you're all work and no play, right? And I feel like for some of you, it might be money-based. Even though we don't have a whole lot of pentacle cards here, I do feel that there's sort of like a general lack of money currently. But I also feel that there's a lot of issues surrounding love, right? Because we have the Six of Cups here, Four of Cups, and the Seven of Cups. So all these cards here lead me to believe that you guys are experiencing some love troubles, especially since we have the Two of Swords and the Nine of Swords. But the Four of Cups, which is sort of the next in our little row here, and then the King of Swords in reverse, lead me to believe that you guys may be dealing with some kind of an air sign, right? So air signs are Libra, Gemini, and Aquarius. So if that resonates for you, just take that to be extra confirmation. It doesn't have to, but the Air King, or rather the King of Swords, is the king of the mental realm. So a lot of times they're smart, they're studious, they're logical, they're very articulate, and very good at strategizing. But the fact that this person is in reverse leads me to believe that they're very cold, very detached, very uncaring, and very emotionally immature, right? Because a lot of times when you invest so much power or so much like energy and time into sort of the intellect realm, you sort of, I feel like they're skimping out on their sort of emotional intelligence, because like I said in the Taurus reading, when you have swords in the negative energy, it really feels like somebody who's kind of like a pseudo-intellectual type who thinks that they have all the answers, and as a result, I feel like they're very emotionally immature, and that's why we have the Six of Cups here also, is I feel like if you're dealing with somebody who is very emotionally immature, they're hurting you emotionally, and that's why we have the Six of Swords, or sorry, the Six of Cups. It's like you're not allowing yourself to show sort of this childlike side to them, and if because they're like not very accepting of it. And I feel like for those of you guys who are dealing with a person like this, you want more out of your relationship. You want a relationship where you're able to actually express yourself openly, regardless if it's emotional or logical. And I feel like you guys are making that happen, either with or without this person, right? This King of Swords in reverse, because we have the Magician and we have the Judgment card. So I feel like you guys, in a very literal sense, are judging someone, are saying, are you or are you not fit to be in this situation, right? Because if you're going to be in a relationship, you need to have that emotional maturity to be able to actually talk and understand and empathize with other people. And I feel like for you guys, that's very non-negotiable. And you guys are right now in a point where, with this Magician card, it's either do or die for them, right? And if they don't, then you sort of move on and you walk away like this Magician is. And you can do that because you know that you can make a relationship happen. And I feel like the fact that we have this particular rendition of the Magician, it makes me feel very much like you guys are empowered, right? There's other magicians that have to do more with like manifestation or sort of making things happen. But this particular rendition of the Magician really makes me feel like you have the power. Not like you're making something out of nothing, even though those things can be a little bit synonymous. I feel like this is very equivalent to you and your inner strength. And I feel like that's very, very powerful right now, especially for you guys, because you're in this sort of Nine of Swords energy. Now, the Nine of Swords is the card of stress and staying up at night. So I feel like a lot of you guys are dealing with a lot of stuff right now that makes you feel very much in a very weird place, very stressed out, especially since we have the Death card here in reverse. Now, the Death card is actually the card of Scorpio. So usually when I see the card that represents the sign that I'm reading for, I'll say something like, oh, you feel very much in your energy. But the fact that it's in reverse makes me feel like you guys aren't really feeling like that right now. Like, things are very difficult. And I think the fact that we have this Seven of Cups in reverse sort of further cements this whole energy of like, ooh, emotions aren't important. We live in a world of facts. And I feel like this is this person who is sort of trying to think about things in a way that just simply isn't practical or realistic because, hey, humans have emotions, newsflash. And I feel like as a result, you're in this Seven of Cups in reverse and Six of Cups in reverse energy, where you're forcing yourself to think in like realistic ways, and you're forcing yourself to do what is the adult thing to do. And I feel like you need to acknowledge that you have these parts of you that want to dream and that want to play, and that's okay. And with this Death in reverse, I feel like you guys aren't exactly letting this go, but the fact that it's here, especially here with this Knight of Wands, it's sort of all coming full circle, is that you guys are going to be able to have this death in the upright and be in your energy, because the Scorpio energy is very much about death and transformation. So I think that you guys are going to enter a situation where you like, I'm very much seeing a situation where you guys sit down this person and say, look, these are my boundaries. These are my expectations. What are yours? We need to discuss if this is actually possible, practical, realistic. And I feel like that sort of combines the best of both worlds, because I feel like to some extent, even though this person is like this, you've sort of been in a very dreamy state, and you've sort of maybe projected or manifested things that you want with this person. But if this person is acting this way, you need to have a sit down with them. And unfortunately, if they don't learn to acknowledge emotions and learn to acknowledge that sometimes you act certain ways because of how like you respond and react, then you need to sort of really establish those boundaries. And if that doesn't work, then maybe find someone else. And there's a very somber energy here, and I feel like you guys know, because you've been in it for long enough, that this connection may not be the best because of this King of Swords energy in reverse. But I really do feel like you guys are going to pull through in the end, because you're strong, you're able to do these things. It's just a matter of, unfortunately, some things suck, and, you know, life goes on. And I really do wish you guys the best, and I hope that, you know, you're not heartbroken over this for too long. But I really do see that there's better things on the horizon if you walk away from this negative energy, and it doesn't necessarily have to be with a different person. But that was your reading first time around, Scorpio. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like or a comment, because it really helps out the channel. And I personally really love to know if these readings resonate with you guys. But like I said before, I upload my new Scorpio videos on Tuesday. But in the meantime, you guys are more than welcome to watch any of my other timeless readings. And with that, I hope to see you guys next time for your next reading.